Good morning. It's December 4th, 2023. Some of the things we worked on last week were the purchasing agent position. Worked on developing or working on how the handoff between estimating and project management was going. We have a new process where the whole diving into the information that how we bid on a project gets captured and described, and then how that goes to the project management team. A lot of projects are awarded, and then 5 months later, they need to start, and the project management team's like, how'd you guys bid this? So it's important to keep that information right when a project is done estimating, developing all that information into EPNs, which is estimated project numbers, EPN descriptions. So there's estimated project number description. We've come down with a whole breakdown of how we show this is everything that we covered on the project. These are the vendors we used. These are the subcontractors we used. Developed this whole process that happens. And what I did is I made a new system where that process has to be established before we even allow a project to get a job number. So when contracts come through, we're always kind of rushing to get a job number on it. And now it's sitting on the estimating manager's position to make sure all the EPNs and the project management tracking sheets are all developed. So I spent a lot of time on that last week, just making sure that system is up and running correctly. A couple other things was working on that purchasing agent position. So we've got that kind of going. So we'll be working on that this week as well. Today's the halfway mark for the training in the San Jose captain position. So we'll have a meeting today about how that training is going out there. We have a little process of diving through each procedure that new position is supposed to be doing. So we can look at our notes from last meeting to see how far along, and the systems manager is going to come in and explain where we stand on that. That's this old roadmap that we put together for that training, or it's training for the San Jose and for the Fresno area. And then we had a great week last week. We landed a ton of projects, and it made me realize we pretty much tripled how many employees we had from this time till last time, or say this time last year versus where we're at now. We're probably sitting about 3 times as many guys, or at least double. So I was having some talks with the team on Friday about some of the hiring processes and interviewing and all that fun stuff. I definitely think we should be diving into that stuff now. We're going to have a crazy year next year, and almost trying to triple what we did this year. So, we're sitting around 49 to 59 people the last couple months. So I easily think we'll have over 100 employees this time next year. So that's a lot of people to hire, and that's a lot of processes and that we got to figure out. So I'll be thinking about some of that this week. Looking at some of the patterns from last year, seeing what months we kind of start gearing up, and seeing if, we can kind of anticipate that growth. Another thing that I've always kind of wanted to do is do how many hours are booked versus how many employees are in each department. So as we book more hours on our backlog of jobs, we can see, okay, we should be around this number of employees at that time. Another thing I've been working on with that as well is how many trucks we purchase. I think we purchased around 10 trucks this year. So next year, we're going to be purchasing a ton of vehicles as well. So I've got the guys trying to pull all the information about how many guys we had in January this year, and how many trucks we had at that time, how many employees we had, or how many hours were worked in February versus how many trucks we had, and try to come up with a pattern throughout the year of, okay, here's a good sense of, for every 500 hours worked, there's probably a vehicle that needs to come with that. This year I put together a whole budget sheet of how many trucks we anticipated on getting, And I remember we all sat down and looked at it together when I put that up, and we're like, man, that's a lot of vehicles. Well, we ended up surpassing that big time. So I think putting a budget together and trying to figure out, okay, this is how many trucks you need. What we really should be looking at is how many hours are worked versus how many trucks are needed. So I'm gonna try to sit down this week and put something together where I've got maybe a whole system built around man hours worked versus vehicles required in the field. So those are some of the things I'll be working on this week. I anticipate another crazy week. We have 5 new people in the office working in the estimating department and the sales department. So spending a ton of time training. So a lot of exciting things happening. Like I end all my videos, I challenge you. Do you think you could also find what brings you so much happiness that you could set your alarm for 2:15 a.m. every Monday? Think about that. Thanks.